studio, and the structure is still kind of like, but yeah, that was hard. What about you?
Probably Langdon, because it was like, I could tell it was a good idea, but Langdon House sounded so seedy for the longest time. It was like straight 05,
MySpace core.
with the synth on the top. But we knew it was like a cool like little synth idea. We just had to change it. AJ came in and like changed a lot of it, so it turned out okay. But I was like, I don't know who's gonna make the record, because it sounds like Ask Alexandria.
No offense.
Cut that out.
No, it just didn't want to sound like MySpace core. You know, you remember that? Somebody remembers those days. Yeah. Last question. Who's got it? You.
Oh, dang.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Who are you working for? Slugsworth. Cold Cock whiskey, herbal whiskey. Product. That was product placement. Anyway, so a lot of people like to ask me how do I write lyrics and what's my style behind my lyrics. And it comes down to me writing a story. Do we have any poets right here? Anybody write short stories, poetry, fan fiction?
Oh my god.
Oh, she's like me. I read those. They're creepy.
Oh my god.
But they're very entertaining. So kudos. Well, it's the same thing when writing lyrics. It's like poetry for me. It's like writing a short story, which I loved to do when I was in high school and I was in British Lit. I loved Shakespeare and stuff. I loved how he used a lot of metaphors, and I loved how there was always so much substance. Like when you're reading a book, you're faced with all these paragraphs and you're just painting the picture yourself, right? I mean, like you're making a vivid picture in your head and seeing it in your own way. And that's what I try to make people feel when they read my lyrics, because I want you to be able to know exactly what I'm talking about. Because there's a lot of bands out there that write these open-ended lyrics that just sound like Twitter quotes, and it's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? And I'm like, you know, that's cool and all, but it's like, I want people to like connect with my songs and apply it to themselves in their own way. But it starts off with having to really write a full story in your head or on paper. And I write a story, I have, you know, the whole story mapped out, and then I start to come up with my rhyme schemes and my metaphors. And like I said, I was inspired by Shakespeare because everything was a metaphor, and you had to kind of figure out, you know, what things meant and paint the picture. So that's what I do, and I write a story and make sure that there's specific details and specific dates and time. Like in Disappear, I use specific dates and time so that you know exactly what the song is about, you know, losing a best friend. And you know, even in Princeton Avenue, you guys know that song, right? There's a line in the song that says, "Your roots grow in the cracks of the alleys. College Park made you man enough to see there's not a goddamn man in me," or whatever. And that song was about, you know, a kid who grew up in an abusive home in College Park, which is like a more urban part of Atlanta. And so like the metaphor there is like your roots grow in the cracks of the alleys, kind of signifying that he's like growing up on the streets, kind of running with the wrong people, doing drugs, whatever, and then passing that lifestyle on to his kids someday. And it's like, you know, that song was about just trying to break the cycle of passing aggression on to the next generation. But anyway, so yeah, substance is the key to my lyrics, and that's how I write lyrics, just so making sure that it's a full story. And when I write lyrics, people are like, well, how do you come up with such great melodies, and how is it so catchy and like poppy? Well, I go into the booth and I do something very embarrassing that they don't get to listen to because it's embarrassing. And it's called a mumble track. Well, that's what I call it. And I basically go into the booth and I'm just like feeling it, and I'm like, and like, I'm like, you know, I do that like 4 or 5 takes and try to get some really catchy stuff. And then in pre-production, I chop it and use different parts that I like, and I put it together and make a melody, which is a cool technique that a lot of, you know, pop writers have and songwriters do. It's called a top line, and basically then I try, you know, to come up with a rhyme scheme and put my lyrics into that, but still, you know, be melodic and be catchy. And the reason for that is because arguably, like, AJ loves riffs and breakdowns and bendies and stuff, and Ty loves listening to the drums and the grooves, but in all actuality, like, the melody of a song is the most important part of a song, period. I will fight you on it. Just kidding. It's very important because you hear a pop song on the radio and you more than likely really don't give two shits about the lyrics, right? You don't really connect with it. But the melody is going to get stuck in your head, and I know this because I'm on stage and I'm singing. You guys are in the crowd like, and I'm like, and she's like, but she knew the melody, so give her a round of applause, right? No, just kidding. But no, yeah, you always get the melody stuck in your head. My mom gets the melody stuck in her head, and she doesn't know the lyrics, and she's doing the same thing when we're riding down the road, and I'm just like, girl, you need to read the azlyrics.com. But anyway, so that's kind of my key, is making sure the melody is very catchy and then trying to apply like substance in the story and, you know, put those two together and you got a fucking prize. And Ty is going to take you through the backbone and kind of how we get the musical side and explain to you a little bit more about what pre-production is.